It feels like a bit of a cop-out.
Don't leave an inheritance.
That doesn't seem very realistic to me.
Stop burying your head in the sand.
If you're truly a control freak, do yourself a favour and control this. Welcome back to the Bungalow, the place where the kettle's always on and the conversation is always about the things you really need to discuss. That's Nikki.
And that's Kim.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been another busy week in property land. Everything's getting busy. Chasing agents and solicitors and brokers, all the rest of it.
It is never ending. I know exactly what you mean. When everything is outsourced, you just spend your life project managing and chasing people because nothing is as important to them as it is to you.
Quite. What's happening in the bungalow?
The bungalow. So the radiators are on. We are now awaiting the structural engineer to come and take a look at the house. Bad news this week with an update on the bungalow, unfortunately.
Oh, really? What happened?
So I've been back in the loft and having a good look up there, and it turns out that we have a snapped purlin. Don't.
Just explain what a purlin is.
Well, it's not something you'd see from the top of a wheelie bin, let's put it like that.
So there's no blame for me then that I didn't see the snap purlin when I stood on the wheelie bin.
Oh dear,
Did you get a survey?
I didn't get a survey.
I never get surveys.
I never get surveys.
Do you wish you got a survey now?
No, I don't, because I don't think it would have changed my mind. It's not an expensive job. It's just really fiddly because obviously roof's going to have to come off. So purlin is one of the really long struts that holds basically the roof up. And then you've got your bat and your felt and your tiles on top. So purlin is pretty important. But listen, do you know what? It's like when we've talked before on the podcast about you don't know what you don't know. So if I'd have gone up there, I would have seen it and I would have recognised it. But now I'm going to learn how to fix that and how integral and important it actually is and who it's going to take to fix it and how much it will cost to fix it.
So you just factor it in on the next one?
I'll just factor it in, and that now when I'm looking at houses, it'll just be another thing on my tick list. So, yeah. I mean...
Every day's a school day.
I love learning, because it just means progression, and it doesn't...
It won't happen again, will it, Nikki?
It won't happen again. So stand by for the fixing of the purlin. It may take a while, but yes, that's the update.
Right, out of the frying pan and into the fire. See what I did there?
I can.
We're going to talk about fire today, aren't we?
Yes, we're lighting a little spark. In fact, we're lighting a fire.
God, did you just do that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's really cheesy.
We're both cheesy. Get on it. Don't put it on me.
Now, fire is a concept about how to manage your finances to free up your time, right?
Yes, and am I right in saying it's an acronym?
It is an acronym.
Whoop, whoop.
Did it start in America?
Yeah, it did start in America. Wow, it's big over there. So, first of all, what you need to know is fire. I mean, spelt with capital letters and a dot in between each.
Yeah. Tell me what those each letters of fire mean.
Okay, financial independence, retire early.
Nice.
Fire.
So
yeah, a movement that was set up in America. It's sort of caught on. It was a long time ago that people sort of started creating it and that it was created. So the idea is that you can start early, start investing, start saving, start putting your money away, and hopefully retire early. Mm-hmm. When I say retire, can I just change your mindset around it? Because I know a lot of people will be thinking retire. So when you think of the word retire or retirement, What do you think of?
Well, I'm going to describe, I think, the last generation's idea of retirement, which is stop working, watch a lot of daytime telly, play golf. I mean, if really old, if you play bridge, probably just offended loads of people who play bridge and are young. But you know what I mean? It's that sort of genteel lifestyle that, you know, cups of tea and scones. I do love a cup of tea and a scone, but
Yeah, well, a lot of people our age would probably say, well, if I was to retire now, what would I do?
oh my God.
It's like, oh, it's terrifying. And I've heard, I've seen, if my grandparents retired, as soon as they retired, they went downhill and, ill health ensued and, they were bored, they didn't have anything to do. And no, so I want to get rid of that mindset, okay? So when I say retirement, think of the first part of FIRE, financial independence. So it's financial independence, retire early. So essentially, you're creating that financial independence for yourself, which in turn is choice. So you're creating choice for yourself, okay? And that choice is whether you want to go to work. If you weren't paid to go to work, how many people would go to work every day? Not that many. So I'm not saying either that you have to absolutely hate your job. There's people chasing FIRE who absolutely love their job, but to be able to take it on voluntarily, to be able just to do it when you choose to do it, just to be able to go down to even 3 or 4 days a week, that would enable you to maybe take up something else, do something else, care for someone who before you didn't have time to, to care for instance. So everybody has their own reason to basically be on the FIRE journey.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to fully retire. I think in some way, shape or form, I'm always going to work. And I think part of that is because work looks very different in the 21st century than it did 50 years ago. It's, for me, and I acknowledge my privilege, it is a physical slog. I'm not down a mine. I'm not digging holes. I'm not, working in backbreaking agricultural work. So my body will allow me to work longer, and hopefully my mind will too. So, I on that basis, assuming the faculties are there, I can very much imagine myself doing a couple of days a week in my 70s. Even my dad, who, I don't know when he retired actually. It might have been 10 years ago now. I think he retired as Bessie was born, so 10 years ago. Even his recently is just like, I think I might start a business. It's because he's bored.
Yeah.
And he's a workaholic. And do you know what I mean? He needs to do something. And I think, I'm cut from the same cloth in that regard.
No, I believe I am as well. And I will pretty much always hands-on manage a lot of my properties. They're not a full-time job. Something that enables you to maybe, I don't know, get out of the country for 3 months a year, go and find some sun in the winter, just something like that. You're all allowed to sort of sit down with a pad and write what your ideal life would look like. Say if you took away this job, it also gives you the opportunity to not have to work in that huge, high-powered job that is sapping all of your energy, sapping all of your time. You end up working weekends. If you're not working weekends, you're spending the weekends stressing out about the Monday because you take your work home. Because when you are paid a lot, that's what a lot of positions expect,
That reminds me of something somebody said to me when I was actually a kid. So we're going like 30 odd years ago now. It was somebody who'd had very high pressured, high salary job, but had chosen to become a taxi driver. And it was because they said that the company that employed him owned him, that they bought their time in exchange for that big salary, and they just didn't want it anymore. Horses for courses, whatever works for you. But it is a different way of thinking about it, isn't it? And if you've achieved the first half of FIRE, that financial independence, you don't need to sell your life to the biggest bidder anymore.
Exactly. So essentially, FIRE is about freedom. not laziness.
Tell me though, whilst we're never going to talk about politics or religion on this podcast, much like there are different flavours of, for example, Christianity, Methodist, Catholics, etc., I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that there are different types of fire. And Nikki, I'm now going to put you in the fire hot seat and test you on the types of fire that you know.
Thanks, yes.
You're welcome. So, first on the list, these are funny names. Lean fire. Tell me about lean fire.
Okay, this is going to the max. So I follow a lot of people on YouTube. I listen to loads and loads of fire podcasts with all different kinds of people. This is the most extreme version of fire, okay? It basically means that you're living a very, very minimalist life. So you've got your job, you've got your house, you haven't got much furniture in there, you're quite minimalist, you buy things secondhand, you know, you're wearing all the same clothes that you were wearing 5 or 10 years ago. It's not important for you to make an impression on anybody. You just enjoy living your life. You're putting away 50% or more of your salary.
Okay.
Can you imagine that?
So tell me though, are followers of lean fire, are they living this 50% on their 50% of their salary? Are they doing that so that they can have a luxurious, exuberant lifestyle once they achieve the retire early section, or are they still living quite frugally?
No, they're living very, very frugally, and with every year that they do that, it brings, their freedom a lot closer to them.
But once they get that freedom, are they continuing to live frugally, or are they able to, open the champagne and buy a bit of bling?
People who have this sort of control in the first place will find it very, very hard to loosen the purse strings, as it were, but they will have the opportunity to live, a more abundant life. So you can use that however you want, whether that's more holidays, more things like that. But essentially, they've bought their time back.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I don't know whether that would be for me, because fortunately, life isn't guaranteed and I could be knocked down by a bus tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen? So it feels a bit, as you say, extreme. You're all in, all eggs, one basket. Okay, we're going from lean fire to fat fire. What the hell is fat fire?
This is the opposite. So you're not saving as much at all. So you'll retire early, but just maybe 5 years before everybody else.
Okay.
So you still live your fat life, as it were. Yeah, you want to be able to go out to brunch. You don't want to scrimp on your holidays. And, you want to enjoy your life as you go along.
So how is that then? That just sounds like a normal life. That doesn't sound like I'm saving much.
You're still conscious of what you're saving and building it early so that it will hopefully snowball in the future, yes. But you're not saving as much whatsoever. So you won't be retiring or free as soon as somebody on lean fire is. No. Yeah.
Right, these titles of fire are getting slightly more curious. Barista fire.
Yeah, it says what it does. It does what it says on the tin. So you don't need to be in the really stressful job because you're putting enough away so you're comfortable with what's going to happen in the future and when you're going to retire, and you've worked it all out. You can go and take a chill job. You can go and be a barista. No stress. Don't need to take your work home with you, but you're still in line to retire early.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very realistic to me.
Okay.
Like, you're not, do you know what I mean? Like, let's say most people want to be in some sort of relationship and they probably want a kid or two, if not a dog, just as expensive as a kid. How realistic is it on a barista's salary, probably minimum wage, which is not the same as living wage, that you are able to live, not on lean fire, but live still reasonably comfortably and save enough to be able to retire early?
Sorry, let me explain. So I've actually got a friend who's Barista FIRE. So they did have a high-powered job. They did have the big job.
That.
And they've put loads of money away.
Okay.
Which has enabled them then to go to barista and be a barista. But they haven't put enough away to fully retire. So they need to go and still work at Costa, wherever it is, for a couple of days a week, just to basically, weigh up their investments and what they've made and what they're taking from those.
It feels like a bit of a cop-out because they're not, gone to university and gone, I'm going to be a barista. They've gone to university, they've become a partner in a law firm on $500,000 a year, and now they're a barista. Well, of course they can.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm being a bit controversial, but I think it's worth pushing the holes a little bit of this.
No, I completely understand what you mean. Look at ex-celebrities. I say ex-celebrities, they're still celebrities. There's a big thing with them starting up farms at the moment. So Jeremy Clarkson probably started it. Then you've got that guy from a boy band, Kelvin.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Strictly. He now runs a farm with his wife and his kids.
Alex James from Blur, he's got a cheese farm down in Somerset.
That's correct. And what's the guy? JB?
Black
guy?
Yeah.
JB?
He was on Strictly as well. He does Down on the Farm. The kids used to love him on that.
Exactly. They've done the hard work. They have saved the money. I mean, they were on presenter wages, but they've also lived a full life. They've been going on holidays and spending all that money, and they've got the big house, but they're not getting the TV gigs anymore. They want to retire. They want the easy life. They've had a hectic life, but they haven't got enough to fully retire. Ooh, let's buy a farm. Let's get out of here. They're all doing it.
No, fine. Fair enough. Well done for them. But what I'm going to say, though, is FIRE then only for the privileged?
No. However, obviously, it's a lot easier to reach FIRE if you're on
money.
A high salary. Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right, I'll stop picking holes in FIRE, and
Please.
I'm gonna.
Nah, I'm only joking. We're on to my favourite one.
Favourite one, Coast Fire. I mean, that blows my mind. When you say Coast Fire, I think barbecue on a beach.
I love Coast Fire. I'm too late for Coast Fire. I'm 40 blah, and it's too late for me to Coast Fire, which I'm really upset about. So, Coast Fire, you're a lot younger than me. You find FIRE and you invest everything early. I don't know if people are listening to our other episodes. However, if you've listened to other episodes, you will realise that investing early creates a lot more wealth towards the end of your life.
And it will never be as cheap as it is if you do it early.
For instance, putting 10 grand into a stocks and shares ISA when you're 20 compared to putting 10 grand in a stocks and shares ISA when you're 40, it just is going to create less money. It's got less time to work for the compounding to work. So the idea is that you go hard when you're young, okay? And you build up exactly what you need, and you look at those assets and you work out exactly what they'll be worth in 40 years. And you can do that. You can certainly estimate it.
All right, what's the rough formula?
You work your life backwards. And then the best thing about Coast Fire is it's all set. So for instance, right, here's an example. It's a crazy example, but say you were to invest £100,000 as soon as you can. You've started working, you've got a really well-paid job. You do that over 10 years, okay? £10,000 a year you save. You've got £100,000 saved by the time you're
31.
Exactly, right. Then you stop saving. That's it. That's done. Because you know that the assets you've put this £100,000 into in 40 years will be worth £1 million.
Nice.
You will then know that these assets will comfortably be able to kick off 4% interest. 40 grand a year. So you will then, in 40 years, have this £1 million nest egg that you can take 40 grand from every year. It will then recycle, that it will
regenerate
itself and fill up again, and you can use the 40 grand again. Obviously, it's not exactly going to be 40 grand every year. So blah, blah, your balance will go up and down and et cetera, et cetera. But that's an example. So you know that £100,000, you've given it enough time to work, and that this is a dead cert, pretty much dead cert, unless obviously the stock market was to hugely crash. In 40 years, there will be 2 or 3 crashes in there, and it will all be weathered because of the time you've given it to work. So you can then stop investing.
Probably for 15 years whilst you're having your kids.
Until
But
you
could stop investing for 15, 20 years. I think that's a good point, because I think a lot of people think, oh God, I need to put away £1,000 a month for every month of my life, whatever it is. And actually there are schools of thought out there which say, no, you don't. Actually front loading it is better, because that gives the compound interest, the power of compound interest, time to work. And actually, when you're in a more expensive point of your life, marriage, kids, houses, if you're buying one, then you can dip it, and then you can come back once you've sent the kids off to college, university.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be a cut-off where you don't have to invest anymore if you don't want to, because you know that these assets that you've created now in 40 years will be worth 10 times what they are today. And that is by using historical evidence from the stock market, from the property market, from, what the sources are out there, basically, for you to find out and know what assets you've got and what the prediction is for them in however long. So yeah, Coast Fire is amazing. So this is a shout out to all the parents who have money tied up in things and think that they're going to leave an amazing inheritance. Don't leave an inheritance. Give the money to your children, your grandchildren now. Tell them to invest it now. They can invest it in what they want, whether that's buying a house for themselves, a buy-to-let for themselves, putting it all into the stock market, creating a SAS pension for themselves where they can just leave it in there and let it grow.
Or a lifetime ISA.
Exactly. It's just so powerful. The sooner you start that compounding effect, the quicker it will happen.
You've given us a really good outline of the broad principles of FIRE. Now, can you give me some practical ways that anyone can inject a bit of fire into their lives?
Everyone needs a bit of fire.
There's got to be a song about fire. Relight my fire? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that era.
All right, Lulu. Yes, there is. You just have to be consistent and invest as much as you can, basically, whenever you can. And always keep it in the back of your head. You don't have to be a crypto whiz. You don't have to be like a day trader or a Forex trader to create something that nobody else creates. It's the best thing about FIRE is it's for everyone. It's just for everyone who has a completely normal life. So I don't want you to look for some massive goal and think that you can't hit it. FIRE is for the normal person. So if you just want to retire 2, 3, 4 years sooner than everybody else, than the official retirement date, then you can work towards that as well. It's literally anything later in life, even just going down to 4 days a week for the last 5 years of your working life. If that's what you want to build, then that's what you can build. It's for everyone.
But you really, though, I think the key to unlocking it then is about, firstly, figuring out what do you want that to look like when you get there. And I think a lot of people probably struggle with that a little bit. How many holidays do you want a year? Are you, going away to New Zealand for 6 months of the year? Are you then spending Christmas in Florida? I don't know. Everybody has their own vision. But also it's about then reverse engineering from that, right? So okay, well, how much does it cost to spend 6 months a year in New Zealand? Get on Google or ChatGPT to figure out how much will that, this is how much it costs now, how much is it going to cost in 25 years' time. Then you've got your number, haven't you? You've got your goal number that you need to reach.
Yep.
Then You need to unpack those numbers and know your numbers today, so then you can extrapolate back up to your goal number, right?
Yes, stop burying your head in the sand, work backwards. You can go straight onto Google and Google inflation calculator, and it'll tell you what £5 will be worth in 40 years. It literally will.
Amazing.
Pretty
Do
average.
you know what strikes me? It's like so many people that I speak to in general life, not about money or anything. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a control freak. I'm a control freak. If you're truly a control freak, do yourself a favour and control this. Control your finances, control your future, because that's what this is about, isn't it? Controlling your future and not being dictated to by society or by external forces, by actually grabbing it, short reins, and controlling your financial future.
Yes, don't let consumerism eat you up. You don't need all these things, Sell them, get onto eBay, sell them. Do you need all these materialistic things around you? No. Would you rather spend your money on experiences with your kids, taking them to countries and, introducing them to cultures that they will never have seen before? Of course. These are the really important things. It's all about spending time with your family, the people you love. So if you can do anything in your life to help you with that, I would say FIRE is a big one.
Okay. I think that for the other couple of things I'd say for people to really lock into if they wanted to get on board the FIRE Express. I mean, my metaphors all over the place here today. If you want to get on board the FIRE Express, then, thinking about investing early and investing long term, I suppose that's a big takeaway that I'm getting from this today.
Yes, exactly. I think it's still very important to create a little emergency fund and always have that for things that are happening day to day, month to month. We've said before, the car breaking down, the boiler breaking down, you're going to need to call someone out to help you with those things. The unforeseen expenses as well, so make sure you always have the emergency fund. So the amount you invest every month, make sure it's automated and make sure that it gradually goes up. So say you're investing 5% of your salary this year, maybe next year you'll commit to investing 10% of your salary.
Or whenever you get a raise by.
Yes, exactly. Don't go out and buy something else that's a newer phone or a newer car or a newer watch. Put that extra 5% into your investments. So even if you never hit full FIRE and it just enables you to retire at maybe 62 instead of 67, just remember that it can be whatever you want it to be.
You're right. It is a mindset, it's a toolkit, and it's something that we can all adopt a little bit of, even if we're not going full extreme FIRE.
Anyone can do a little bit every day to increase their financial future.
Fantastic. I'd love to hear from everybody at home. Have you ever heard of FIRE? Is your life already on fire? Drop us a comment below or drop us an email. Our address is in the episode notes.
Like and subscribe, and please leave us a review.
See you next time.